Hello there. Welcome back to 2 Minute Emergency. I am your host, Dr. Leslie, board certified emergency physician, best-selling author, and international speaker. And I am here today for another segment to help you stay healthy and out of the emergency department by teaching you about some emergencies and some situations that you can do to stay healthy. Today's topic is your diet and your heart. So I've been talking for the last couple of episodes about diabetes, it being Diabetes Awareness Month, as well as talking about sodium in your diet and different things to help keep you healthy. So with today, I'm speaking specifically about your heart. So you've heard a lot about sodium, salt, and your intake of it and how it affects your blood pressure. But there's a few more things about that. So first of all, how much sodium is a person supposed to have? Well, according to the American Heart Association, if you have no history of high blood pressure or anything else, you can have 2,300 grams. I know that sounds like a lot. If you have hypertension, you want to limit yourself to under 1,500 grams. 1,500 grams is less than a teaspoon of salt. So keep in mind when you're thinking about salt, you're thinking about not only what you add at the table, but the different salt amounts that are in the foods you eat. Things that are high in salt include things like processed food. So we're talking about lunch meats, we're talking about canned vegetables, and a lot of things, especially when you go to restaurants, the amount of salt that they use for flavoring appeals to a lot of people. However, generally it exceeds the amount of salt that you should have at any one time. The reason that we tell you to avoid salt, one of the big reasons, is because you start to retain fluids. And as you retain fluids, it makes your heart work harder. Speaking of your heart working harder, another thing that does that is fat and cholesterol. So we are also told to make sure that you check your cholesterol regularly, along with your other blood work when you go see your doctor for your yearly visits. What does cholesterol do in the body? So cholesterol collects in the blood vessels. It basically, if you think of the blood vessels as being the plumbing of your body, so that cholesterol gets stuck and clogs the pipes or the blood vessels, especially the arteries in your body. As that happens, you have to have increased pressure for the heart to pump the blood through the rest of your body. That increased pressure makes your heart work harder, and it also leads to what we call incompliance, or your blood vessels can't be as flexible as they normally would. So this also can lead to heart disease, can lead to heart attacks, can lead to strokes. When we think about foods that are high in fat, we think about fast foods, number one. So the things you want to stay away from are the saturated fats and the trans fats, specifically things that stay solid at room temperature. So we're talking butter, obviously things like lard, things that are high in fat. We're talking about your bacons and your sausages and your heavy creams. Things like that are key to avoid. There's plenty of things out there that are absolutely delicious. Matter of fact, other things to try to get that same amount of protein in your diet without having all the fat are poultry, but taking away the skin, as well as fish. So fish is obviously an excellent source of protein. Now, I know there are people out there who are vegetarians, and so not to say that they have to eat either of those things, but there are other things that are high naturally in protein. So when you're talking about your legumes, you're talking about your beans, quinoa, for example, which I know some people haven't heard of, but it is very good, high in protein, and it also is a great substitute for rice or other higher starchy foods. So just some things to think about as how you can protect your heart. Another thing that I mention every time, of course, you're never going to get away without me talking about drinking plenty of water. What can I say? That's my thing. A couple other things to remember is that for the most part, you're supposed to limit yourself as far as your cholesterol to no more than, let me make sure I get my numbers right. Your cholesterol, you're supposed to limit to 5 grams of cholesterol or 5 grams of fat in your diet each day. So read labels. There's a reason why the FDA had those labels put on all of your foods, because it can guide you as far as making sure that you have a proper diet. At first, it's difficult. It's very difficult to read labels and go through all that difficult work of figuring out what can I eat, what can't I eat. After a while, you'll be surprised how fast you get to know automatically, this is good, this is bad. I'm here in Texas, and here in Texas, as you know, people love their steaks. And I have nothing against beef. I'm not a vegetarian. But when you think about, you order that steak is an 8-ounce steak, a 12-ounce steak. Did you know the actual amount of red meat that you're supposed to have at any given time is anywhere between 3 to 5 ounces? That's about the same amount of a size of a deck of cards. So that one steak that you ordered for dinner is really enough for 3 meals. That on top of the fact that the recommendations by the American Heart Association is that you not have red meat more than twice a week. So let's think about that. That same 12-ounce steak, 3 meals, you've got that going into next week. I know this is a big change for a lot of people, but eating healthy is one of the easiest ways to avoid having to take medication in the first place. If you stay on a healthy track, you're consistent with your diet, you drink plenty of water, and you exercise. I'm going to wrap it up with that. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of 2-Minute Emergency, and I look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Same time, same place. Once again, I am Dr. Leslie Sharp, and you can find me right below, there's my hand, right below, at www.drlesliesharp.com. Feel free to leave any messages you'd like, and remember, share my messages. I want as many people to learn just basic tips as possible, because I don't want to see you in my emergency department. Once again, I'm Dr. Leslie Sharp, board certified emergency physician, international speaker, and best-selling author. Take care and stay healthy. Bye for now.